The music had started. Her heart was pounding, not from nerves, but from something she couldn't quite name. With her bouquet clutched in both hands, she stepped toward the back door, ready to walk the short path that led to the aisle, to her future. The guests had all turned in their seats. The groom stood waiting at the end, eyes locked on the entrance. Her father gave her a warm smile, ready to take her arm. But before she could take her first step, Max leapt in front of her. His body was tense, ears up, eyes wild. He barked sharply, once, then again. Louder, more desperate. She froze. "Max," she said softly, confused. "What's wrong, boy?" He wasn't moving. He growled low, not at her, but at something. He nudged her back with his head, then ran to the door and scratched at it furiously, turned around and barked again. The bridesmaids exchanged awkward glances. Her father tried calling Max, but the dog ignored him. All of his focus was on her. The guests outside began to murmur, craning their necks. The music faltered slightly and someone whispered, "What's going on?" Max returned to her side, now whimpering, pressing his body against her legs, as if begging her to listen. She'd never seen him like this. Never. Not even during thunderstorms or vet visits. For the first time that day, the smile faded from her face. Something was wrong. She looked down at Max, his eyes filled with panic, not mischief, not excitement. It wasn't just strange behavior. He was trying to tell her something. And suddenly, the beautiful day didn't feel so beautiful anymore. Torn between confusion and instinct, she finally knelt beside Max, gently cradling his face. "What is it, boy?" she whispered, heart now racing for all the wrong reasons. Max barked once more, short, urgent, then ran to the side door that led around the house. Without thinking, still in her gown, she followed him. Her heels sank into the grass, the wind catching the veil behind her. Bridesmaids called out. Her father hesitated, but Max kept looking back, making sure she followed. Then they reached the driveway, and there, partially hidden behind a row of bushes, was her groom. Not at the altar, not waiting. He was there, with someone else. A woman, laughing, holding hands. His jacket half buttoned, a cigarette in one hand, and the intimacy between them unmistakable. It was quiet, casual, like it wasn't the biggest day of his life, or hers. She froze, stunned. The world stopped moving. The man who was supposed to be her forever was with someone else, minutes before saying, "I do." Max stood beside her, silent now. He didn't need to bark anymore. Tears welled in her eyes, but strangely, she didn't cry. Not yet. She just stared, numb, as the truth crashed down on her like a wave. Everything made sense now. Max's barking, his panic, his insistence. He had seen it. He had known. Before anyone else, Max saw what she couldn't, what she wasn't supposed to see, what no one wanted her to see. And he made sure she did. Not just a loyal dog, not just a pet. He was her protector, her guardian, even when it hurt, especially when it mattered most. She stood there for what felt like a lifetime, frozen in her white dress, her bouquet hanging limply by her side. Her eyes locked on the scene unfolding before her, like watching a stranger's heart break, except it was her own. The laughter, the intimacy, the betrayal, it was all real. There was no misunderstanding this. Max sat quietly at her feet, no longer barking, just watching her, waiting. As if he knew this was a moment only she could respond to, a choice only she could make. She could have walked away silently, could have gone back, put on a smile, and pretended everything was fine. But instead, she turned around, back toward the backyard, her family, her friends. With steady steps and trembling hands, she reached the garden where everyone still waited, still unaware. She stepped onto the aisle, not toward the altar, but to the microphone set up for speeches. The music stopped. All eyes turned. Her voice was calm but clear as she said, "There won't be a wedding today." Gasps filled the air. Whispers turned to silence. She didn't explain. She didn't need to. She simply looked down at Max, who now stood tall and proud beside her, as if knowing he'd done exactly what he was meant to do. She bent down, kissed his head, and said softly, "Thank you." Then she walked away, not broken, not defeated, but with her head held high. And Max followed, loyal as ever. Looking back now, she often wonders what would have happened if Max hadn't stopped her. If she had walked down that aisle blind to the truth, into a future built on lies. But she didn't, because Max saw what she couldn't. He knew her heart, and more importantly, he protected it. That day she lost a fiancé, but she gained something far more valuable: clarity, strength, and an unshakable trust in the bond she shared with her dog. Max wasn't just a companion, he was family. And family tells you the truth, even when it's painful. She learned that love doesn't always come in the form you expect. Sometimes it has 4 legs, a wagging tail, and eyes that see into your soul. Now, years later, every time she walks by the garden, she smiles. Not with sadness, but with gratitude. Because one German shepherd, on one unforgettable day, changed the course of her life. And he did it all with nothing more than a bark, a block, and a heart full of love.